Hey there, and welcome back to a new episode of the Leading Yourself podcast. I'm just coming back from vacation, and today I want to bring you along for a little unpacking, not just of my suitcase, but of what this vacation has taught me. We're going to be talking about the double joy of planning your trip intentionally, also, why I came back with thousands of photos and zero regrets, how I adapt my routine so I can recharge while I'm on vacation, what are my must haves for traveling, and yes, how ChatGTP helped me plan my best vacation yet. Whether you have a vacation coming up or you're just back from one, or maybe you're dreaming about your next vacation, I want this episode to be a reminder to stop waiting for someday and live your life with purpose starting now right here. So let's dive in. Welcome to the Leading Yourself podcast. This is your host, Carolina de Arriba. I'm an HR professional, health and fitness coach, wife, mom, and above all things, a goal-getter. In this podcast, we're going to be digging into all things leadership, professional and career development, habits, and relationships. This is a podcast for those who want to become the best version of themselves. Those who have big dreams and are willing to embrace the journey and put in the work to achieve them. My goal is to share with you the tools, tips, and tricks to help you in your journey. So let's dig into today's episode. It's officially vacation season. This is when a lot of us try to book our vacations for the year, probably the big one of the year, because if you have kids, this is the prime time, right? That's when they are out of school. So for us, we took an early vacation this year, right after my kids finished school. We went out for 10 days and we had an amazing time, and we're just coming back. And I want to share with you a lot of the things that I've learned through the process of planning this vacation, but also how I took full advantage of it so I could really disconnect and really recharge. Now, we need to start from the very beginning, before the passport stamps, before the photos, before the packing, all of that. We need to talk about planning, because let me say this, for me, that's where the magic really begins. I know some people hate the logistics, the flights, the confirmations, the booking of the hotels, the figuring out the timing. I can feel like a lot. But here's a little confession. I actually love it. In fact, I think planning a trip is one of the most joyful parts of the entire experience. Why? Because when I plan, I get to live the trip twice. Once in my imagination and once while we're actually there. There's something about sitting down with a blank piece of paper or a fresh document, a cup of coffee in hand, and asking what would make this trip unforgettable. What would excite the kids? What would give me a moment to exhale? What do I want to feel when I come back home? That's the energy I bring to the planning. I dive into research, reading travel blogs, watching, YouTube videos, finding restaurant recommendations, checking Google reviews, learning the best times to visit the different sites, the temples, the markets. I imagine us walking down the streets. I visualize the food, the colors, the energy of the place. It's like a mini mental vacation before the real one even begins. And this year, I had a little extra help. Yes, ChatGTP was my trip planning buddy. It was like having a travel concierge in my pocket. I asked things like, can you help me organize 3 days in this city so we hit all the highlights but have some time to rest? Or also things like, I want to see Marina Bay, light show, visit the gardens by the bay, and still have a relaxing afternoon. Please help me. And ChatGTP would respond with full day itineraries, tips on opening hours, kid-friendly options, travel time between spots, all of it. Even consider the weather forecast to determine what days to do what. And it didn't just give me ideas, it helped me group them smartly so we weren't running around and burning out by 3 p.m. I even use it to generate a packing list, find out what festivals were happening in each city, and plan the trip in a way that felt like a vacation, not a whirlwind. Because if you're a parent or traveling with a family, you know, not all trips are restful. Sometimes we come home needing a vacation from our vacation. But planning well helps change that. When you do the mental heavy lifting before you go, you're freed up to actually be present once you're there. Instead of asking, what should we go today? Or do we need a reservation? You're asking, how does this moment feel? You're noticing the essence of the smells in the air, the way your daughter's eyes lights up at something new, the quiet smile between you and your partner as the sun sets over a place you've never been before. That's what planning creates, space for presence. And I know some people resist planning because they worry it takes the spontaneity out of the trip. But here's what I found. A good plan doesn't restrict you. It supports you. It gives you a gentle rhythm to move through the day while still leaving space for the unexpected. So if you've ever felt overwhelmed by vacation prep, let me invite you to see it differently. What if planning was part of the joy? What if it was a gift to give to your future self? What if the anticipation is the beginning of the adventure? Because when you start planning with presence in mind, you don't just plan a trip. You plan joy that you get to harvest twice. So whether you're planning a weekend getaway, bucket list adventure, or a simple staycation, let yourself dream. Let yourself feel the trip before it starts. And then let yourself live it fully once you're there. Okay, this might sound silly, but whenever I travel, I say I always bring 3 essentials: a journal, a scarf, and my camera. Yes, my camera, because if you know me, you know I take a lot of pictures, thousands literally in every trip. My kids will make jokes of me every trip, like, Mom, you have enough photos already, or let me guess, you want to take another one. And I know this might sound like overkill, but hear me out. For me, taking photos isn't about getting content. It's not even about trying to make memories. It's about seeing what's already there and really letting it sink in. Taking photos actually helped me become more present, not less. You know, when I'm holding my camera or my phone to take pictures, I'm more attuned with the light and the color and the textures and the contrast. Like, I'm paying more attention to the details of the scene, and I probably look at things and details that otherwise I would miss if I was not looking through the lens of my camera. And here's the thing, the pictures don't just capture what something looked like, they capture how it felt. Later, when I'm home and the trip is technically over, I scroll through that camera roll and it looks like I'm back there. It feels like I'm back there. One photo brings it all floating back. There's a picture I took on this last trip. It wasn't posed at all. It was candid. We were at the restaurant at the hotel having breakfast, and we always make our kids try new things. And they typically are more open to trying new stuff when we're traveling. So she was trying a durian, and you can see this face, like she didn't like it at all. But her face expression, the capture of that moment. You know, the picture is not something that I would post on social media. It's not a beautiful picture. It's imperfect, and it's everything at the same time, because we can tell the story of that moment just by looking at that picture. It says we were there, we were together, we lived that moment. And I think in a world that sometimes pressures us to be minimalist, to document too much, or to stay off our phones at all costs, I just want to say, if you love taking pictures, don't apologize for it. There's nothing wrong with wanting to remember. There's beauty in creating visual proof that we showed up to our own lives. Sure, I try to be mindful. I don't want to see the whole trip through a screen. I'll take a photo and then I'll put my phone down. I'll snap a few, then sink in with the moment. But I've never regret having too many pictures. I've only regretted not capturing something that I wanted to hold on to. Photos are bookmarks in the story of our life. They don't have to be perfect. They don't have to be for Instagram. They don't have to be seen by anyone but you. So if you're someone who takes over 1,000 photos on a trip like I do, take them all. Zoom in on the beauty, frame the joy, capture the messy, real, vibrant memories, because one day you'll look back to see a mosaic of proof that you live fully, that you notice, that you felt it all. And to me, that's the magic of travel and the magic of your camera. Now, I want to talk about something also very important while on vacation, routines. It's something that is very close to my heart, and I want to share what they look like on vacation. Because if you know me, you know that I'm so big into routines and my habits. And, I just love my routines. They're a big part of how I stay grounded, focused, and intentional, especially in the midst of a busy life. And here's the truth I've come to embrace. When I travel, I don't abandon my routines, I adapt them. Because routines aren't rules. They're not something to obsess over or feel guilty about. They're simply a support system designed to serve your energy, not to control your schedule. And during my recent trip, I lean into that mindset even more than ever. Some mornings, I naturally woke up early, no alarm clock, just my body's rhythm. On those days, I slipped into the hotel gym for a short but energizing workout. Nothing intense, nothing scripted, just movement that felt good. Other mornings, I let myself slip in, and that felt just as nourishing. One thing I stay pretty consistent with was my breakfast routine. Even on vacation, I made it a point to prioritize protein and fiber, keeping things simple and whole foods, eggs, veggies, sometimes yogurt, lots of water. I consciously stay away from the pastries and overly sweetened options and anything that is too processed. Not because I'm on a diet, but because I know what helps me feel good and energized to explore. But did I indulge? Of course, I did it, but I did it intentionally. On both places that we visited on this trip, I felt in love with fresh fruit, for example. I mean papaya, dragon fruit, so fresh, so juicy, so good. I could have eaten bowls of it every day. And honestly, I probably did. That was my sweet treat, and I enjoy every beat. And of course, we try all the local foods. That's part of the adventure, right? We walk through the markets and tested dishes and that I couldn't even pronounce. It was beautiful, and fun fact, we walk a lot. Every day we hit at least 10,000 steps. One day we even hit 20,000 steps, and it didn't feel like exercise. It felt like living and exploring. Another routine that I loved on this trip was laying by the pool at sunset. Almost every evening, I made it a point to pause, not rush, just sit, watch the light shift in the sky, breathe in the warm air, and just watch my daughter play at the pool. She had so much fun. She wanted to be in the pool every single evening. Some evenings, I even jump in and swim with her. Simple moments that turn into core memories. We didn't plan for any of it. It was so spontaneous. But we found ourselves, once we did it the first time, coming back to it and make it our routine during this specific vacation. And there was one more rhythm I kept. At the end of the day, I'd scroll through the phone and I look at all the pictures that I took during the day and reflect and ask myself, what stood out today? What did I felt grateful for? What memory do I want to freeze in my heart? Some nights I journal, other nights I just smile and savor. That become a new kind of routine, a gentle way to close the day with intention. So here's what I want you to take from this. You don't have to choose between vacation and your identity. You don't have to ditch your habits to be in quote unquote vacation mode. You just need to evolve your routines to meet you where you are in the world. Ask yourself each day, what do I need today to feel like me? What supports my energy, my joy, my presence? Let your routines flex. Let them follow the rhythm of the season that you're in. Because when your routines travel with you, not as a checklist, but as a compass, you come home feeling more like you, not less. Now, let's zoom out for a second. Why do we take vacation? Yes, to rest. Yes, to explore. Yes, to spend time with our families or check off a dream destination. Yes, to all of those things. But beneath all of that, I think the deeper reason we go on vacation is we want to disconnect from what we do and reconnect with who we are. Because let's be honest, in our day-to-day lives, it's easy to get wrapped up in to-do lists and team meetings and inboxes and expectations. Even if we love what we do, the constant noise can drown out our ability to hear ourselves. And when you don't step away fully, you miss out on the clarity, the creativity, the connection that only comes when we pause. That's what vacation offers us, a chance to remember what lights us up, to experience wonder, to move without urgency, to be a little more us and a little less on. But here's the key. You only access that magic when you actually unplug. That means letting go of the guilt, trusting your systems and trusting your team and your peers, honoring your out of the office, and giving yourself permission to not be available because you've allowed to rest. You don't have to earn it. You don't need to justify it. You're allowed to rest. And when you do, something beautiful happens. Your body kind of exhales and your mind slows down and your heart opens up and you come back not just refreshed, but reconnected. That's exactly what happened to me on this trip. And I want to share how I know in many ways that one, that I didn't take time off. I actually rested and recharged. I didn't just hope for it. I designed for it. And I have all the receipts. First, let's talk about sleep. I track my sleep pretty closely, and the data on this trip was incredible. I averaged longer nights, more total hours of sleep that I've had in months, but that wasn't just more sleep, it was also better quality sleep. My REM and my deep sleep both were on optimal ranges every single night. And that tells me that my body was actually able to relax, to repair, and to process physically and emotionally. My HRV, that stands for heart rate variability, literally doubled from my baseline. That's a key indicator of nervous system recovery. The higher your HRV, the more balanced, rested, and resilient your body is. I also noticed that my resting heart rate dropped. My stress levels were low throughout the day, not because I wasn't doing anything, but because I was in the moment. I felt calm and present and connected and alive. And get this, I still moved a ton. Every day on our trip, we walk at least 12,000 steps, sometimes 20,000. We explore temples and markets and parks with curiosity leading the way. But I never felt drained. Why? Because I wasn't forcing movement. I was just living. Moving because I wanted to, because the world is beautiful, because I was at awe with what I was seeing and learning and experiencing. And I wasn't waking up to an alarm. I let my body race when it was ready, and I woke up feeling refreshed. I had energy, clarity, even joy. I didn't need coffee to survive the day, though I still enjoy it, of course, every single day. The lesson, rest, real rest, doesn't mean doing nothing. It means doing what replenishes you. It means being present enough to let your body and your mind sink back into the natural rhythm. It means giving yourself permission to disconnect from pressure and reconnect with life. This trip reminded me that we don't just want rest, we need it. Our nervous system, our creativity, our joy, they all depend on it. And sometimes the most productive thing that you can do is to put your phone down, take a walk, look around in awe, and just breathe. So now I want to ask you, what would it look like to build rest into your life before you burn out? How would your body feel if you gave it space to recharge? Where could you add awe, beauty, or lightness into your week, even without a passport? Because the truth is, vacation might end, but restoration can be a rhythm. So For me, for example, I'm taking a lot of these things and now I'm trying to see how can I incorporate them in my day-to-day? How can I incorporate some of these things that help me really recharge during my vacation into my natural rhythm of my days and my weeks so I can keep up with that momentum? Now, I told you we were going to talk about what I pack when I travel. And more importantly, I want to share why. Because I don't just throw things in my suitcase and hope for the best. I pack with intention. Each item I bring has a purpose. It's not just about convenience, it's also about creating a sense of rhythm on vacation and joy when I'm far from home. So here's a deeper look into what's always in my travel bag and why it matters. The first thing is a good book. Something magical about reading when you're traveling. Your brain slows down, you absorb things differently. I always bring at least one great book, something inspiring, meaningful. Typically is a personal development book, but this year I actually brought like a nonfiction book. And I use also ChatGPT to help me pick the book because I haven't read a fiction book, in such a long time. So I didn't know what to bring and I just asked my friend ChatGPT to help me pick the book. And I enjoy it so much. It kept me grounded during plant raids, quiet hotel mornings, poolside moments. It's a way to rest and refill my mental space without distractions. The second thing that I always packed, actually not necessarily packed, but before every trip, I load up with podcast episodes that I've been wanting to catch up on. Because listening to something thoughtful while flying, walking, or journaling deepens the experience. So it's a little gift for myself, time to learn and laugh and just be. So I always bring my AirPods and I download a bunch of podcasts that I can listen to on the plane or while we're out, even if I don't have internet. The next thing that I packed is my iPad and my personal computer. No, I'm not working on vacation. I did not pack my work laptop. But I do bring these to stay creative because whether it is journaling, photo organizing, or letting the kids watch a movie on the plane, these tools gives us flexibility. I even use my iPad to review our daily itinerary and look back at photos every evening. They're not about productivity, they're about freedom. And I feel like when I'm on vacation, also, I am more creative. So I took advantage of that in a couple of moments to just capture ideas so I didn't forget about them. Talking about that, the next thing that I packed is my journal. This is a non-negotiable. Even a few lines a day help me to connect with the moment. I write about what we did, how I felt, what stood out. Sometimes I just brain dump before bed. Other times I write about a single magical moment, like my kids laughing in the pool or a dish I'll never forget. It turns travel into transformation. It captures the moment and what I learned from the moment. The next thing is all the chargers because a dead battery in a new country is never fun. So I bring every charger that I might need for my phone, for my watch, for my iPad, for my laptop, everything. Plus, I also pack always 2 battery packs. These are a must. We use our phones constantly while traveling for maps, for translation, for bookings, for photos. A backup battery means we're never stressed about running low. It gives us freedom to stay out longer, take all the pictures, and not panic. By the way, if you're curious about all of these things that I packed, I'm going to put a link on the show notes of this podcast episode with my personal checklist and all the links to all of these things that I'm sharing right now. Okay, moving on. Another thing that I bring, this might be a little extra, but I always travel, not always. This is really the first trip that I'm doing this because this is something new that I'm trying. It's a compact sunrise lamp to help regulate my circadian rhythm. I'm using it at home every morning. I wake up and it's dark outside, and there's a lot of studies that exposing yourself to sunlight in the first 30 minutes upon waking up really helps sync your circadian rhythm. It helps you sleep better. But because when I wake up it's dark, I find out that there's this special lamps that simulate that. Not every light does it. And because we were traveling across time zones, I brought it with me so it could help me wake up naturally, feel less groggy, minimize the jet lag, stay in sync. It's such a simple way to support sleep and energy, and I love it. And let me tell you, we were in opposite time zones and I did not experience jet lag. Either way, going there or coming back. And I attribute that a lot to my morning light and to the next thing that goes on my back always, which is my water bottle and electrolytes. Staying hydrated on vacation, especially in the heat, is everything. I always carry a reusable water bottle and a few packs of electrolytes. When you're walking 10 to 20 steps a day in the sun, this makes a big difference. They help avoid headaches, fatigue, crankiness, both for adults and kids. So those are a must always. I also carry with me, I pre-pack vitamins and supplements that I'll need. And I have this organizer for every day. So I will not forget and I won't fall off track with my vitamins and my supplements. When you're eating different foods, sleeping differently, moving more, it's also helpful to keep your body supported. It helps digestion and immune health and overall energy. And for me, is important. So I always bring them with me. It's a way of supporting myself and continue to take care of myself. I also bring with me resistant bands and workout clothes. I don't do full workouts every day on vacation, as I said before, but I love having the option. On this last trip, I hit the hotel gym a few mornings, stretching the room some nights, or just move in small ways. It helps me to keep my body open and active, especially after long flights or intense sightseeing. It's just not about burning calories, it's about feeling good in my body. And those resistance bands are always a lifesaver. Even if I, for whatever reason, cannot make it to the gym at the hotel, I can have a full workout in my room. Okay, we're getting to the end. The next thing is snacks. Especially with kids, snacks are the heroes of travel. I bring protein bars, nuts, trail mix, even a few special treats. They keep everyone happy between meals and help avoid, all the drama that can come when someone is hungry and we don't have something to eat. I also love having snacks that help me stick to how I like to eat. So whole nourishing foods that feel good in my body. I pick some of them very intentionally. So on our first flight, I had a lot of pre-cut veggies like carrots and cherry tomatoes and things like that. That was my snack. I also brought like protein jerky sticks, things like that I know they go well with me, they calm my hunger, they help my energy, all of the things. The last thing that I always packed is a scarf or a wrap. This is a must take with me. I can use it on the plane as a blanket, or I can bundle it as a pillow. I can use it as a wrap for temple visits or breezy nights. It instantly makes me feel cozy and pulled together. It's lightweight, it's multi-purpose, and somehow it always comes in handy. So yes, it's a list of things, but it's really a list of things that help me really enjoy my vacation and feel at my best while I'm out. These are all the small intentional choices that help me stay grounded, rested, and present while I'm away. They support my energy, my joy, and the overall experience when I'm traveling. And they're part of how I come back from vacation feeling refreshed and not depleted. So here's my question for you. What are your travel non-negotiables? What items, rituals, routines help you feel more like you, even in a totally different time zone, in a totally different place? Make those part of your packing list, because taking care of yourself while you're exploring the world, that's not indulgent. That's how you make the most of every moment. Now, before I wrap up this episode, I want to share one big reflection that stayed with me since coming back. And it's this: don't wait for someday. This trip, the planning, the places, the people, the moments, reminded me how easy it is to fall into the trap of later. We say, I'll take the trip once work slows down. I'll do something for me when the kids are older. I'll rest once this project is done. I'll say yes to joy once I lose the weight, have the money, get through this season. We wait for the perfect moment. But here's what I've learned again and again. Life doesn't wait. And honestly, it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. Was every moment of our vacation magical? Of course not. There were travel delays, cranky moods, jet lag, forgotten items, the heat, so much heat. It was so hot. But there was also laughing and connection and newness and a kind of wonder that only comes when you say yes to life. I watched my kids try new foods and light up at night markets. I stood in temples I had only ever seen in pictures. I laid by the pool totally still watching the sky shift colors, and I felt so grateful. And I didn't wait another year or wait until things calm down, because there will always be another deadline, another reason to stay home, another excuse to say not. But this trip reminded me that now is the only time we actually have. And when you say yes to that, even if it's messy or inconvenient or imperfect, you make space for living. You don't need a vacation to practice this. It could mean taking the walk now, booking the dinner now, saying what's in your heart now, starting the dream now. So let me ask you this. What's something you've been saving for someday? What would it look like to take one small step towards that? It doesn't have to be big. It just has to be real. Life isn't waiting for perfection, and you don't need permission to live the life that you want. This trip reminded me, we don't just travel to see the world. We travel to remember how alive we are. Let that aliveness follow you home. Say yes now. Live now. Don't wait for someday. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Again, don't wait for someday. Say yes to the trip. Say yes to the planning joy. Say yes to the photos. Say yes to the slow mornings and the late nights and the imperfect days filled with real memories. Don't wait until your schedule cleans up and you have all the answers. Don't wait until work is lighter or the stars align somehow. Just say yes, because life isn't live in someday. It's live right here, right now. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I know it's a little bit different from what we typically talk on here on the podcast, but I wanted just to share with you my experience, my lessons learned from this last vacation, which was amazing and so memorable. Definitely a trip that we're going to remember for the rest of our lives. I hope that you have an amazing week, and I can't wait to talk to you next time here on the Leading Yourself podcast. Take care. See you soon. Okay, my friend, that's all I've got for you today. But before you go, 2 quick reminders. Number 1, if we're not already friends on Instagram, let's get connected. You can find me as Leading Yourself Podcast. Number 2, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you never miss an episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am incredibly grateful that you're in this journey with me. I want to leave you with one last thought. I want to remind you that you're destined for more, and that every step that you take brings you closer to becoming that best version of yourself. Embrace each day as a chance to learn, grow, and chase your dreams. The world needs you to shine brightly, so go out and show up fully and authentically. Take care, and I'll see you next time.